It's interesting, like thinking of the circumstances, like life circumstances with COVID especially, and how that really was influential in us having to write remotely. And the fact that we all live in different states. And at the time when COVID first hit, I know in New York at least, like they said you can't even drive out of New York State. So it's like there was no possibility of us getting up, and thank goodness like technology's gotten to the point where we can write parts. Like G went into the studio for a couple tunes in Florida, cut drums, and then would send the tracks back up to me. And there's a couple tunes that we sent to Johnny Cosmic, who did the Ways of the World record, and he's out in Cali, you know, and like sending stuff from New York to Cali, and me, New York down to, you know, Charleston for Josh to cut stuff.
I mean, thankfully we did have that week at White Star. Those 10 days really put the core demo of the record together. The theme with that, I think, was something that kind of I was going through with, you know, a lot of just not necessarily turmoil, but ups and downs and philosophies and way of living, and my thought process with struggling and addiction and thinking about shit like I normally do with like God and the world and the universe and stuff like that, and started to do some meditating and having this feeling that there is always like a, you know, spirit of the universe, the great spirit, you know, that's always with you. And I think that also around that time, like, you know, COVID was going on, a lot of, you know, people passing and loved ones dropping off and friends, and, you know, it was such a strange time really to be alive, and the theme of that, always with me, started to have another meaning with, you know, loved ones that are no longer with us, but always being with you in a different sense. So, you know, maybe it came as a result of feeling alone in a lot of ways, and really trying to bring to light the fact that, if, you know, you might feel alone, but you never are, you know what I mean? So, and whether it's a loved one that's always with you, or you know, the great spirit, or whatever you want to call God, or the universe, or nature, or whatever it might be, that they're, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, but something that I want to try to spread, at least to give people some positivity when they might not have any, but that feeling that, you know, you're not alone. So that's where that came from. And that was just a song on the record, and we didn't necessarily have a title. We don't start a record with a title and then make the songs. We kind of last minute, we'll always kind of just look at the body of work, and we had a couple of titles kind of going around, and that seemed like a good one, so I'm stuck.
Can you hear me? Yeah. All along you've been carried through trials that you thought would bury you. The great spirit of the universe guided you.
With the pandemic going on too, and the uncertainty of, you know, what life was going to be dealt to us, and just, you know, we go from seeing each other all the time, being on tour, and like making music's always my favorite part too. I love traveling, but us getting in the room together after not seeing each other for a year and like building, I'm just excited for people to get that kind of healing that I felt from making the record with the guys. Just hopefully, you know, the people can feel that, like our excitement of like, oh, just here we are again doing what we love to do. And just like, I'm always, even when stuff was getting really bad, and prayers and blessings to all lost loved ones. But you know, now that we're getting back on our toes and our feet, and just I don't know, I just feel like the music in general is healing, and that's what I'm most excited to share with people, is like the feelings I felt from it, that we felt, and just sharing it to people, to let people know. Even in Josh's song No Worry, the lyrics alone, like, just, I don't know, ready to uplift the people again with what we love to do best, you know?
Features are one of the hardest things to do. Luckily, you know, we buckled down, or like we were able to get Stupid and Clinton, and I still can't believe we have them on the record.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's awesome.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, I'm excited for the people to hear this one. You know?
I'm kind of scared at the same time.
Oh yeah.
It's always terrifying,
yeah,
right?
it's just, it's different.
We've been listening to these songs for a long time now, and like, well, I just want the people to hear it, and hopefully they love it.
We're so lucky to be able to do what we do, and yeah, it's awesome to even be in a world and in a life where we can have a fun band, you know, like regardless of any success at all, like, you know, I know that we never expected any success, first and foremost. It just didn't think that it was ever a possibility. But yeah, we are so lucky that we found each other and that we're able to live this life.
We're such a tight crew as friends that we trust each other like infinitely on these endeavors, you know? And that trust like allows you to open up and like experiment on levels that maybe you'd be afraid that someone would judge you with their ego or whatever. But I don't really feel that with this crew. So I think because of that, we're able to kind of like leap into these uncharted territories that like maybe other people might be scared as a group to venture out into this field. Like, oh man, this is like too left field or too right field. Like, you know, this doesn't, because there's like a handful of tunes on these that, man, it's like it's a wild adventure. Like we went for some stuff that really felt bold and it still feels bold. And that's exciting. Like, I think for me, I realize how much we evolve as human beings throughout our lifetime. And there's chapters in our life. And when I look back at like when Ways of the World came out and what my life was like then, my life was completely different. It couldn't have been more different, you know? And I think like, wow, like I could imagine some fans like being attached to a record like Ways of the World was such a great record. I love that record to death. But that record can never be made again. You know, that record was made under those circumstances in that time in our lives. And I think to have the expectation that we just repeat that thing is unrealistic because, you know, we are evolving as human beings and we want to explore new territories and we want to push each other and ourselves, more importantly, to like strive and elevate up to a new level and experiment with new things and try and bring new feelings to people. I think there's a lot of tunes that like have ballsy excitement and have like real love and have all the feels in between, and that's like such a blessing that like we can trust each other to do those things, and that's what I'm most excited for people. I hope that people just like come with an open mind because it's an open mind record. It's like come on a journey with us because it's a deep one.